Hi, welcome to Tony's Cool Tools. First thing I want to do is apologize for the noise that this wind is going to probably make, but it's the only day I can make the video. A couple weeks ago I did a video on the Artillian modular tractor storage system. Say that 4 times. That was video 76. And today I'm going to show you how we can share these components with another piece of equipment that we use on a daily basis in our woodyard or homesteads. So today we're going to take this Kubota UTV and transform it using the Artillian Elite bed-mounted tool rack system. So now we're going to transform this to this. As I mentioned in previous videos, I love reviewing and promoting USA-made tools. And yes, Artillian is one of those companies. They source their steel in the US and manufacture it. How much better can it get? The thing I forgot to mention in my last video when I was doing the modular systems is how well packaged all the product comes in. Check this out. Every tool and accessory that I've gotten is so well packed. I don't think I've ever seen a company that does a job as well as Artillian. And I know other YouTubers that have reviewed the product said the same thing. It's just unbelievable. And next to my Coyote tractor, the second most used piece of equipment that I have is the Kubota UTV. It hauls everything to my job site when I need it. Unlike the tractor that utilizes the ROPS, the rollover protection, to mount everything, this one utilizes the dump bed frame here to attach all the parts. And there are 2 systems I'm going to show you. So you're probably asking, will this fit my UTV? Currently it works on the Kawasaki Mules, the Kubotas, the Polaris, and the Gravely brands of UTVs. Now, as you can see, the UTV offers you plenty of storage for all kinds of stuff. But if you're putting logs in here after you buck them and you've got a ton of logs in here, where do you put your saw, gas can, and all the other stuff? The Artillian bed-mounted tool rack system helps you there, and we'll be showing you how that works. Let's get started with the first option you have for the bed-mounted tools rack. So this is the first option Artillian offers for the bed-mounted tool rack system. The instructions come with plenty of pictorial diagrams, and let me tell you, I need those. I'm a pro when it comes to IKEA furniture, but on other stuff, I need pictures. In addition, the instructions tell you which tools you need and actually how long this should take you. And depending on which UTV you have several options of mounting this. The first one is the bracket here. You can either mount it outbound, you can mount it inbound. I chose to go to the outside because I wanted to have as much space in here as I could. And I felt the tools hanging outside would be much better than hanging inside because I'm losing so much space. Oh, and by the way, Artillian gives you enough hardware regardless of which brand that you have. If you're lucky enough to have the Mule, the Kawasaki Mule, they use a 1-inch square bar on the top of their dump bed, and it's super easy to install because they have this square bracket that just fits on there, and you don't have to drill anything. Unlike the Kubota, where I had to use the flush mount system and mount it, or drill it and mount it up here. A couple of things I wanted to mention about the installation of this bar, and that is the instructions ask you to have about 20 inches of space in here so that when you put a product on one of the modulars, that it can either go behind or next to something like this. Because I work alone, I utilize the quick grip clamps and clamp the whole system, both sides, to make sure everything was aligned properly. But here's one thing to take into consideration. Make sure that when you put your accessory on your module, that when you press this cam arm down, that it clears the top of this bed here, like it does here. Even though it's close, I still have plenty of room, and then lock it in. Because the first time I did it, I hit the top. Thank God I had not drilled yet. So we're through with option 1. Let me give you a closer look here of the installation, both front and back. on both sides. So now we're ready to load it up. And here's what it looks like fully loaded. And here's what it looks like going down the road. As you can see, it does stick out a little bit, but that's something you have to be cognizant of as you're going down the road or in your woods. So after installing option number 1 of the bed-mounted tool rack, we're going to go to the Elite option now. And as you can see, I've already mounted some vertical bars here, but let me show you a little bit more on that close up. So on the Elite system, you get 4 of these vertical bars. They have inserts in here all the way up the bar on one side and only 2 on the other. The easiest thing to remember is the one that has most goes to the outside here. And basically, you remove these nuts and bolts here, set that in here, and tighten it up. I'll do that in a second and show you. But before I do that, I'll also mention, let me get this bracket here. This bracket here is installed in here like that and goes up at the top. After you've got it positioned, just snug it up, but don't tighten it yet. And now all we do is take the bracket, make sure that the rubber is facing forward on this side, and tighten it up. And as I mentioned, make sure that when you install these brackets that the rubber is facing to the back, on the back of the unit, and front on the front of the UTV, because they are left and right, and I screwed that up and put the wrong ones on first and had to redo it. So now we're going to install the cross pieces here, and these go on top here where this foam is, and we'll be using the brackets that have 4 holes in them. So to make my job easier, I initially put in just these 2 bolts here at the bottom on both sides, let the bracket hang, slide the bar in until I got these sides here equidistant, and then put the top screws in, used my quick grip to hold everything, and now I'm just going to tighten everything up. And I'll do the same thing on this side. So on the Elite system, you get additional upper bars here. You have a lower bar on the original one and you get an upper one. So you can mix and match your modules as necessary. And they have inserts here so you can change this location all the way from the top to the bottom here, depending on what your needs are. Well, we're through with the installation. Take a look. Looks pretty nice if you ask me. Now let's load it up and see what it can hold. So I wanted to show you 2 more features about the Artillian system here, and that's the ability to store long items on top. Like your pole saws, whether it be a power saw or manual saw, and ladders. And the nice thing is they have this system here where it locks in, and you can move this around and have wide items in there or narrow items, and then lock them in, and there's holes here for bungee cords. The last module in this system I want to show you is for long handle tools. Where the heck do you put them when you have a full UTV? Let me show you. Lock them in. How cool is that? And I have a couple options with the long handle tools. I can leave them vertical like this, Or I can change the cam arm system here. There's holes here and holes here. I can mount it so that these can go like this if I chose to. But for me, this seems more practical. So here's something I really like about this system. I don't have to take it off or do anything when I want to dump something. Now how's that for easy? So whether it's my UTV or my tractor, I can share all my modules here by just unlocking the cams, moving them over, putting them on, and there I go. So I hope you found this video on the Artillian bed-mounted tool rack interesting. I know I did. After installing it and using all the different modules for a couple weeks now, I found it extremely handy and easy to use. And I have no excuse for leaving tools in the pole barn now. I have plenty of space here. And I also keep the bed empty so I can store stuff in there, whether it's bucked logs or anything that I want to put inside the bed of the UTV. So remember, pass it forward, make the world a better place. And don't be a tool. Watch Tony's Cool Tools. Until I see you next time, have a great one.